When I was in university, it was University of Singapore. 1968, it was the Bukit Timah campus. I didn't realize it was such a small cohort. And we were very student activists, great time, parties, and I think the fondest memories was student life, talking through the night about ideas, and the coffee houses in the hotels then were over 24 hours. And you could sit and drink coffee for 50 cents and the whole night. So we'd be Bukit Timah campus, go to a hotel like Shangri-La or the Hotel Malaysia overnight and talk about life and politics and everything through the night. And next day go to lectures. How fun. The other place was Adam Road. Well, when I graduated, I sat around at home for 6 months. Then my father said, "Is it about time you give your mother some money? And that means go and get a job." I didn't want to work in Shenton Way, it was so officey. And I didn't want to work in Jurong, that was it was like, my goodness, it was another country. And then finally Kim Seng Road, was right in the middle. And he said, "Why do you try?" And I never knew I could write. It never occurred to me. And I think it's better to not know you're talented, Because if you think you're brilliant, you come with preconceptions, which I don't think is correct for a creative, for a creative mind. And then, so I found out that I could write, and I loved it because you could ask questions. You can be the most busybody person in the world. You can ask anybody anything, which you cannot ask in a polite conversation. And I had the social beat, which was, I did breastfeeding, mothers, women's issues. Those were very exciting issues to deal with in 1968, 69. We had just become independent, if you think of it. And then I was offered the art and music, based on studying music and singing. And I did art as a subject in school in England. Art meaning not painting, a study of art, the whole culture of art. So that was exciting. I was so excited because I had two free tickets to concerts, the best seats. In those days, $50 was a lot of money. So it's like, I got into the most exciting part of life, When you're a journalist, I wasn't a crime reporter, I was a features writer. So you got to go into very exciting subjects, and my studies really grounded me, made me realize that whatever you do has to be grounded in facts and information. I think it's made the world of difference. I'm asking myself, I started work in 1971, few years after independence, and now 50 plus years on, I think I'm still relevant. I'm still questioning and asking questions. And I think that whole arts and social science has made a difference because, especially I did sociology and political science, and you don't accept anything at face value, but you have to learn about people, about how they work. And people have always fascinated me, people as a group. So I don't interpret food as, is it delicious or not, which is a given, And then, but what does it mean? What does it mean to a people? And how do you judge the food? And then you have to learn about the actual culture and the proper techniques of cooking. And I think that comes from studying, that comes from having to check. And when you did something like sociology, everything was based on facts. Everything was based on research. And I think that was so important. I think it's very important to sort of think what's next, what's tomorrow. I'm the sort of person that gets up today as it is. I had a stroke in 2014. And then next day I got up and I was in bed and I couldn't move and I had no balance. I had something called cerebellum. And so that was as it is. Then you go on to the next day. But every day is so exciting. I mean, even when I was in hospital, wow, like that, so interesting to discover things. And I think that part of it comes from research. It comes from being a journalist. It's also research, right? And then you're always excited about what's next. And I think what's next is so important. And I think I'm forever 18. I still think of myself that way, And when I see a young person, I think if they think they know everything, it's okay. Because I thought I knew everything, at 18. And I thought people over 30 were dead, like your mind. So when I'm taking a person now, I can understand if they think of me like that. And I have to be able to engage with them and show that maybe, and then they think I'm not like that after they engage with me. I think a lot of people maybe don't resent the job that you have to do. Don't resent your boss, because whatever you're doing is actually your own. You own that IP, that job, you do a good job, it's done, it's yours. And I realized this when I was, I was doing food for the last 50 years. And then I was writing about art and music and architecture in the 1970s to early 80s. And I was asked by the National Gallery in 2020, the 1st January, to give a talk on art and architecture in Singapore in 1969 to 1989. I was so highly impressed by myself, because like, I said, how come? They said, your words are on the walls. My words are on the walls of an exhibition in the National Gallery. And then I was thinking, yeah, if you take your job seriously and you have done as best as you can, to sort of be for that whatever job you're doing, it lasts forever. Can you imagine my words come out like 50 years later? That is yours. That never goes away, And I think people should realize that don't resent anything, because every day is an opportunity.